Hello guys, I'm Brambos, welcome to the channel, and this is gonna be a video where we create a full damage system for ALSV4, and this is not only gonna be a normal a full damage system, this is gonna be a proportional system with exponentially higher damage from higher up. So the higher you jump from, the exponentially higher damage you will get, just like that. And actually, if we just try it again, our damage can be halved by break falling. As you can see, I took a lot less damage than what I would normally do from that height, and that is going to be also included in this video. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Now, as you can see, I don't yet have anything. It's an actually freshly created project. I only made this little staircase so that we can demonstrate it later. So let's start making it. First things first, I want an HP HUD. If you've actually seen my full damage video, which is not for ALS, it's gonna be pretty much the same, except here I will take advantage of the breakfall system that Caleb created. So yep, let's create our HUD user interface widget blueprint, and I'm just gonna call it HP bar HUD just to make it clean. And we go into the HUD, and we are actually gonna leave the graph alone for now. We are gonna work with that later. So let's create a very simple progress bar. We just drag it into the scene or drag it into the canvas panel. It's pretty much going to be the same. I'm going to anchor it to the bottom left because that looks nice there. I'm going to change the color of it to some darker red so that it looks a bit like Dark Souls. It's yeah, right about there, a bit more up, yeah, like that. Beautiful. So we are gonna zero these out. First things, we wanna make it look nice, right? So I just want it to be 400 in length and 15. Let's make it 17 wide so that it's nice and slick. And I'm just gonna position it on the x-axis. I just want it to be around 50 so that it's not right at the edge. And here I'm just gonna double this value to the negative, so it's going to be 34, negative 34, so that it sits up from the bottom a bit. Now it looks beautiful. I'm just going to open down this tile thingy, and do I need to open that style? Yeah, I am looking for the tint. Yep, tint, so that we make it a bit darker, because that looks better when it's close to empty. And add the percent just so that we can see the stuff. I'm gonna set the percent to 75, so 0.75, because it's 0 to 1, so 75% is 0.75 hundredth. So compile it and save it, and we do not really need this, so I'm just gonna put it into another tab. And if we were to play it, it's not there because we haven't added it to our character, so that's what we are gonna do next. We just go into Advanced Locomotion before, Blueprints, Character Logic, not Assets, and here we have a choice to either do this at the base character blueprint or the element blueprint. I'm just gonna go into the base character blueprint. It's gonna be your preference, which one do you like. And on the Big in Play, nicely and crudely, I'm just gonna add our widget here. So create widget, and since it's still construct none, I have to select my HP bar, and then owning player, that's perfect. And we, from the return value, I'm gonna drag out and say add to viewport so that we can actually see this, because this just creates it but doesn't add it to the viewport. So add to viewport, and now we have our widget on screen. So if we compile and save and go to play, we have our 75% health bar at the bottom. Doesn't look very nice. So I'm just gonna actually stop playing and I'm just gonna lift the tint a bit there so that it's lighter. I just want to raise the contrast a bit because yeah, it's not okay. That one looks good so that we can actually see it better. Let's see. Yeah, perfect. It's a bit light. It's a bit more light-hearted this way. So I'm gonna go with that one this time. And our next step would be go back to our character blueprint, base character blueprint, and I'm just gonna create two new variables. One is gonna be player health, player HP. It's quicker, and this is gonna be a float. You can do integers, but I usually prefer floats over integers in these use cases. And another one, which is going to be our fall damage. The reason I'm saying that this is fall damage, not damage, so normal damage, is because I like to keep track of the fall damage differently than I do with normal damage from any other thing. But it's really your choice. If you already have damage and you're fine with that, you can use that damage. So fall damage here, and I'm gonna actually set the player HP. I have to compile to 100, so we start with a full health. I mean, yeah, 100 is gonna be my full health. You can do this in a way that player current HP and max HP. That's actually a bit more flexible than this. So yeah, actually let's do it that way. This is gonna be our current HP, and let's go player max HP. Okay, beautiful. So now that we have this, what I want to do is actually, let's see the tick graph real quick. Yeah, I'm not gonna touch this just yet. Okay, so what I want to do first is create a custom event that basically calculates our fall damage from our velocity. And the way to do that is custom event, create custom event. So just type in custom event, add custom event, perfect. I'm gonna name it update fall damage. I can't type. Update fall damage. Now, what I want here is actually get our character movement right here, and I want to check if we are falling. Is falling. That's very good, right there. And we are going to create a branch from this and just connect it there. And basically, since we are going to use this event in the tick graph, this ensures that we do not always run the update fall damage logic if we are not falling. So basically we are going to do nothing at false and do our calculations at true. So let's begin. What I want is get the velocity. So get player character this time. Get player character. And what I want from my player character is get velocity. And this is a vector, and we don't want to use vector this time, so I want to split the struct bin and only use the z-axis, which is the up and down axis, because we are checking falling. That's what we care about. And since this is going to be a negative value when we are falling, there are a number of things you can do. I go with the easiest one, just multiply it by -1 so that we get a plus value. The reason is because if it's up, the z is a positive. If it's down, it's a negative value. And since we only care about the down and want to make our lives easier at the calculations, I'm just gonna multiply it by -1. And this is the gist of this part. Now this velocity is gonna be in the thousands, 2500 and stuff, and I know that when we jump it's around 500-600, I'm not sure. So actually what I want to do, I'm not sure with ALS, but I want to check it. So if we are falling, what I want to do, I just want to print a string. I just want to check what our velocity is at jumping, because I don't want to have any sort of fall damage when we do that. So save, and when we jump, we should get somebody. Oh my god. Oh yeah, we are actually not calling our newly created event anywhere. So yeah, my fault there. Sorry. Yeah, let's just add a new pin here, and what I want to do is update fall damage. So we are gonna actually be able to see some stuff now. Play it. Okay. 411. That's very nice. So we go back to our event graph. I'm just gonna compile and save. So event graph. And here I'm just gonna delete this logic. And what I want to do is check if this is bigger than 650. Not 650, 600. Because, yeah, in the normal third-person project you start with Unreal Engine, I think the fall damage from jumping is around 550. I mean the velocity. But here it's 420, so 600 is good. I usually use 650, but 600 is gonna be better for our purposes now. Now we are gonna create a branch from this. Branch. And connect this to true. So if we are falling, we are gonna check if our velocity is bigger than 600, and basically what I'm gonna do is if it's bigger than 600, only then will I take fall damage. If it's under 600, I don't want to take, because that's like 3 steps there, so I don't want that. So we are gonna leave alone the false, and what I want to do here is actually do our little calculations, and that is gonna be, I'm gonna create a power node so that we can create a proportionate, so basically it's a proportionate fall damage to the height or the velocity. And to make it nicer, in my opinion, so, we need an exponential value. So the higher you jump from exponentially, the higher damage. So I'm gonna do a power, did I tap caps lock? So a power node, and I want the base of our power node to be very simply just, I'm gonna divide it by 100. Yeah, not like that, but divide and then 100. Like here, and I'm gonna divide it again by 2. I think that's a pretty good value. So basically, if we are falling with 1000 velocity, 10 to 5 is our base damage, which is not very high, considering that 1000 velocity is mid-range high. So what I want is then I want to use this as a base, and now our minimum power will be 2, but I want to add another value to the 2, which that the higher the velocity goes, the higher power it's gonna be. So if it's like really low, we basically add nothing to the 2, but if we are falling with a 2500 velocity, it's gonna add to that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna create an add node here, and one value is gonna be constant, that's gonna be R2. Now the other value I have actually experimented it with a little, and what I want is basically get this value, and I want to divide this value by about 3000. So if our velocity is 3000, then this value is gonna be 1, and in that case we are gonna take the base damage to the power of 3, as opposed if we have like really low velocity like 700, we basically add nothing to R2. Well, we do, but it's negligible. So this is gonna be our fall damage here. So the return value from this is our fall damage. So did I create the fall damage already? Yep, perfect. I'm just gonna set the fall damage like this. And if it's true, set the fall damage to this. And now we have an equation that works for our fold image, and we actually call it add the tick graph. And basically, I think we are almost done with that part. Sorry why I'm clicking. What I want to do though is, yet again, I want to check our fold image. So I'm just gonna print this out every time we have a fold image. Okay, save, and let's play. This is not gonna update our health bar yet. That's 11.6. That's quite a lot. 29. Okay, I think that's gonna be, that's imperfect. Whatever. Does it update when jumping? No, perfect. Okay. Now, this is gonna be very good for us, I think. So I'm just gonna compile this and save it. And now, the way I want to apply this fold image is actually, well, fairly simple. We need an onLanded event, which we have somewhere. Breakfall, roll. Yeah, I think that's good. Somewhere we have an onLanded. Yes, here we have the onLanded event. And this is where everything is going to happen. So basically, if we do not break fall, we go down to false. And at the end, I want to apply the fold image. And the way I do that is I'm gonna get the player HP. I want to set it here. And what I want the player HP to be is I'm just gonna get the player HP as well. I'm gonna subtract our fold image right there. And I just want to set it just like that. And we basically set our HP. And that's how easy it is to set this. Now the next step is I actually want to connect the player HP to the HUD. So we are going to go into the graph, and what I want to do is at the tick I want to cast to ALS base character blueprint, ALS base character blueprint, like that, and I'm gonna get player character. I hope this will work. Okay, and here I wanna get player HP. We are gonna get the max HP as well. So actually, at the begin play, we don't have a begin play. Anyway, yeah, construct. That's good. And here I just wanna, yep, not like that. I just wanna do this, and I want to get max HP here. Get player max HP. Okay, that's perfect. And I'm gonna promote this to variable. Promote to variable. That name is perfect for me. So if the cast was good, then we have our max HP. I'm just gonna make it a bit nicer here. And I'm gonna promote our normal HP to, or current HP, not normal, to player HP. Now we have our HP. Now the reason I get the current HP in the tick and the max HP in the construct is because our max HP is not gonna change, at least in this case, but our current HP will. So I'm just gonna compile and save again, and go back to the designer and bind our percent. Create binding. And what I want to do, our return value is gonna be our percentage, so it has to be between 1 and 0. And since we have our max HP, get max HP and get current HP, or player HP, however you want to call it. And I actually just want to divide this. Where's division? Float per float. I'm gonna divide my HP with max HP. So if it's full, it's gonna be 1. If it's 75%, it's gonna be 0.71, and so on. Compile and save, and do not forget to give the max HP a default value, which I have forgotten. So I'm just gonna come back here, click on my player max HP. I'm gonna set this to 100. So we start with the full HP because our current HP is 100 as well. And we basically connected it, so we have binded our HP percentage to our HP bar. So in theory, this should all work out. And if it works, we are gonna jump onto the break full event. Let's try it. Okay, we started with 100%, that's promising. And let's jump down from here. And nothing happened. Oh no, it did update. Okay. For a moment I thought nothing updated, so. But our full damage seems a little low to me. Let's try that again. Well, it's a bit slow on the uptake, but I think it's fine. Let's see if we have any errors. No. Okay, that's perfect. The reason it was a bit slower is because we have to do these before that, so we have a half-second delay here. But actually, well, this can actually go after what we just did. So I'm just gonna move this whole thing here, so that we don't have to wait for the delay. And what I want is, I just want to move this here, move this here nicely, and I'm just gonna cut it out from there. I'm gonna move this part out of the way, put it back here, and we are just gonna connect this here, and connect this here, so we don't have to have a delay. Let's try that though. Okay, sprint up. Perfect, we don't have a delay anymore. Okay, now on to the break full event. Now what I want with the break full is I want to take half damage if we break the full. Or it could be 75%. This is really gonna be based to your liking. So we only need this basically. We're just gonna copy this and paste this here, because you see at the break full event we do not take damage actually right now, because we only take damage if we go into the false. So when we go into the true, it's gonna be exactly the same. Now to make the damage half, so to half the damage, it's very simply just, we are just gonna divide this by 2, and then plug it in, and basically that's that. We halve the full damage. If you want 3/4, you can divide it by, I don't know, or multiply it by 0.75. I think that's actually a better way, because this division is just not good enough. Since I want half, I'm just gonna divide it, multiply it by 0.5. So if you want 3/4, you multiply it by 0.75. If you want half like me, 0.5. Compile and save. So, and actually there's another thing we have to do, which I'm not sure we have done. So basically we calculate this. We do it at the tick. We actually have to set our full damage back to 0. That's a pretty important part. So, yeah. After we have set the player HP, what I want to do is just drag in the full damage here. Perfect. And drag in the full damage here again, like that, and we just set the full damage to 0 after we applied our full damage. Okay, let's test it. And actually I forgot what I wanted for a moment. What I want is, before we set it to 0, I want to print it. Print. And what I want to print is our fold image. Like that. I'm gonna copy this. I'm gonna make it look nicer in a moment. I just really want to see my fold image before it's set to 0. Go in here, go in here, and you go in here, so the halved image. Okay, let's hit play, and I need a higher spot. So from here, and our fold image is 52. I actually want to start with a full HP. You can do a hotkey that just gets your HP to your max HP with a customable, and so we fall from here and we break the fold. 26. It works perfectly, and as you can see, the HP are updated perfectly. So that's it. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, please leave it a like. If you want to see content similar to this, or, well, I don't only make ALS videos, I'm starting to do pretty basic UE4 stuff without ALS, but I am actually working on a hand IK system, which I think is going to be very cool. It's still in progress, but as soon as it's done, I'm going to upload it and make a tutorial out of it, because I think it's going to be very fit for that. So if you like this content, please subscribe. If you disliked it, you know what to do. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.